if you ain't got money, then I won't mess with y'all.
Is that really a song, or are you just quoting Kid
Yeah,
Rock?
Krispy Kreme. It was like these two like kids that were rapping on the YouTubes. The group name is Krispy Kreme, and the song is The Baddest, and it is bad.
No, like literally the name of the song is The Baddest.
It's The Baddest. Hold on, I'm just
Do
gonna
they spell Krispy Kreme like with 2 Ks, like Krispy Kreme?
Yes, they do with 2 Ks. Krispy
Wow.
Kreme, and it looks like it's like two 13-year-olds, and they're like holding guns in the video, and you're just like, what? And it's just really bad rapping, and they're so young. And honestly, the only reason I know about this is Tosh.0 had them on for like a redemption episode.
And now they're like 30.
God, I mean, this video came out in like 2012, so
Oh,
yeah, probably. Actually.
all right, nice.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Oh my God.
Speaking of Krispy Kreme, that's the title of the episode here. If you haven't been able to tell as you clicked on the button, this is 1-star review as we read maybe a 5-star review, but no, we read 1-star reviews of bad places and good places of bad. Bleh. I'm drunk.
We're going to read the 1-star reviews of Krispy Kreme, the rap.
You don't tell me what to do, Larry. You don't tell me what to do. You co-host once in a while because you're like a deadbeat dad. You're not here all the time, but you come around when you feel like it, and I just have to get what I get and like it.
I'm so sorry that I have an actual kid, and I have to be not a deadbeat dad for my actual kid.
But this is your host, Andrew Van, of the 1-star reviews, where we read the bad reviews of good places in Greenville, South Carolina, mostly, unless we just feel like dicking around. Speaking of dicking around, this is the co-host, Larry Simonson.
Yeah, I like donuts.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, I like throwing my dick. I don't know. Anyway. Well, you do. We know that because you are a father. So we definitely know you like throwing your dick. Anyway, you throwing your dick. Throwing it. But folks, if you like our podcast, if you've been a fan before, help us out. Give us a subscribe and like and a review wherever you listen to our voices on already. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, iTunes, all the things that have audio stuff. We don't have YouTube because I'm ugly. But maybe one day, if I have the funding and if I have the time, which I don't, because I have 2 kids and I have a full-time job.
Does YouTube cost anything?
No, but I don't feel like doing just audio and then doing like a transcript and then making it that easy for people to like access. It's like, if you really just want to listen to a podcast, just do it like other people and just download the free app to download it, whatever you listen to stuff on.
There is something about realizing that most people listening to this probably don't know what we look like.
Well, you definitely are white. So
yeah. I am a very burly white man.
You're like a mixture of every white person's stereotype.
Yeah.
And then you're just you as you're stroking your cat. So
my actual cat.
But it's okay. But in the meantime, because I'm a native Greenville born boy, I love me some Krispy Kreme. You can't beat that soft cake texture with that like just warm glaze. Like if I were to rank the best Krispy Kreme donuts, I mean the OG has to go up top.
Yeah,
and then I would say lemon for me. I would say a Boston cream is probably close to that as well. I'm a fan of anything with jelly. And then just to shake it up once in a while, the good old fashioned crawler.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a good coffee donut because it's like a little stiff, but if you dunk it, and it's like, oh, there we go. Am I wrong for that? I know people like blueberry. I know people like the chocolate ones. I know people like the chocolate glaze ones.
I'm gonna
the seasonal ones.
I'm gonna say that everything I've had from Krispy Kreme I have liked. I tend to gravitate towards the classic, towards the glazed. But it took me a while to get there because my family was a Dunkin' family. Back when Dunkin' was actually producing
the actual donuts in the house.
Yeah. Which
like,
actually funny story. So like our hometown Sumter didn't have a Krispy Kreme for the longest time. And actually, I'm trying to think if they do now. I think they just sell Krispy Kreme in various locations, but don't actually have a Krispy Kreme. and we didn't have a Dunkin' either. But whenever we went up to the Northeast to visit my grandparents growing up in Connecticut, they had a Dunkin' locally, and they were also making all their bagels in house. So we'd get like a dozen bagels and a crap ton of donuts, and just like gorge on this like donuts and bagels that we never got to eat anywhere. So we were like this like this dedicated Dunkin' family, but only because we would only occasionally eat them.
Look, I'm gonna say this, and I don't care if it's controversial. I don't care if we have listeners in Boston. I really don't care. Dunkin' Donuts is trash. It's old pastry that gets delivered from some fucking God knows warehouse.
It's completely
later,
dipped. It's completely dipped in quality over the years. I'm not a huge fan.
I think they focus more on the coffee, which is really not that great. And
it's not good either.
Like the little foods, like they have wraps. I think they have like sandwiches. I think they occasionally have like egg bites or some shit like Starbucks does. Some other creations, but like
they've kind of become shitty Starbucks.
They don't even put donuts in there. It's just Dunkin'. Remember, they rebranded. Right. They literally just put, let's just call it Dunkin'.
It's like, Dunkin', oh wow, yeah.
The fuck, but don't dunk the donuts because the donuts are terrible.
Yeah, Dunkin'. Here's a euro no cake. Why don't you dunk that in some coffee?
And that is where Krispy Kreme gets it right. They actually have the little factory inside the little restaurant, and you can see the conveyor belts when they're made. They even put the damn light. The light is where it's at. Where you see the hot and fresh.
We know what you're here for. You're here for donuts. We will always be here producing donuts.
Except for this person. This person did not come in for a donut. This is from 9 months ago. This is
first 1-star review, not for donuts. That's
the winter. Great. This is probably the winter of 2022. Went out to get a hot chocolate. First, they were out of milk, which was understandable, so I asked for water. I thought it tasted different because it was made of water, but come to find out, they didn't stir and blend the mix in. All the powder was at the bottom. Disappointed. I usually have no problems with this location. And yet, you did the thing that I don't like. You usually don't, means you are a regular customer. But the one time that you get bad service, and you try to be understanding, I commend you. You settled for a hot chocolate without milk. You settled for water because you thought you're going to be the big person. And yes, hot Swiss Miss does say sometimes you can add water.
Yeah, it says that, but you shouldn't. It's gross. Fucking gross.
Chocolate water. That's Yoo-hoo. You fucking had Yoo-hoo. You had a hot Yoo-hoo. Anyway, that's my
hot Yoo-hoo is the name of my next improv group.
There you go.
Here's a 1-star for you. And it is in that quality. It's that type of review that we're gonna look forward to leaving soon. It's a COVID one. I ordered 1 large coffee, 1 medium coffee, 1 large caramel iced latte, and 10 donut holes. Due to COVID, the store is closed to walk-in customers, drive-through only. I had to wait 5 minutes for someone to greet me, placed my order, and then took another 10 minutes to get my order requested. Instead of 10 donut holes, I received 5 mini donuts. Instead of a large iced latte, I was given a small. I noticed that the charged was for a medium. However, the issue is I asked for a large, received a small, and was told it was large. My issues: 1, the service was excruciatingly slow. 2, don't bald-faced lie to me about small iced latte being a large. This isn't my first order of iced latte. 3, mini donuts are not the same as donut holes. I had my reasons for needing donut holes specifically. 4, the man was unmotivated about resolving issues, so I left very unsatisfied. 1 star. And then they left a bunch of photos proving with the receipt that they ordered what they said they ordered.
The man was very unmotivated about resolving issues, so I left unsatisfied.
That is what a statement on America. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. See, now this next review, I'll give a pass because they tried 2 times. They tried 2 times. Not one time where they got a bad time. Always loved that place. But last 2 times I've got lemon filled with at least half the donuts, had very little and no lemon filling. I done with them. I done.
Imagine how good your life must be for you to be so pissed that your lemon filling wasn't all the way filling the donut, and that is enough for you to cut off this restaurant from your life.
Hey Phil, we got a review that said the lemons aren't filled in all the way.
Yeah. What was it, Jerry?
Well, I don't know your home life, Phil, and I brought this demo. See, now I bought this needle, and what I'm going to tell you is you got to imagine I'm going to guess you probably didn't get the birds and the bees. You're going to take this needle and imagine the donut, right? As like, well, Phil, do you have let me ask, I don't want to be inappropriate. Do you have a significant other? Do you have a spouse? Do you have a partner?
My only significant other is the lemon cream that we produce here at Krispy Kreme.
Okay, so pretend you want to fuck the lemon cream. Okay, so imagine,
Jerry, I have been fucking the lemon cream.
Oh God.
Let's do another one star.
All right. Scene.
How about this one? This place was ridiculous. We ordered glazed lemon filled, and guess what? I told the young guy to give me this order 5 times and still had none full donut. It is no wonder people hate. I am so disappointed, 3D.
I'm so disappointed, 3D.
This, yeah, I shit you not, I'm reading it how it lays.
It went all caps. It was a 3 in the E.
The young guy to give me this order 5X and still got a non-fold donut. It is no wonder people hate. I'm so disappointed, 3D.
I love that he spelled disappointed with all caps, the number 3 in the E, as if it was like a rock band.
I'm so disappointed.
I love that. I love that.
Like, that is amazing. I just, oh man, they have not. They've reviewed other things, but they're not showing them.
There you go.
They're not public.
Rude service today. I asked for a certain type of donut and I got yelled at. Then I received a donut that looked like someone stuck their finger in it. And there's a photo of like a Boston cream that does look like it got punctured.
It really does look obscene.
Phil, we got another review.
Yeah, Jerry.
I know we've had beef about the lemon, and I really appreciate that you went through sex rehab and you're no longer having sexual relations with the lemon donuts.
No longer with the lemon donuts, Jerry.
But can I ask why you have chocolate on your fingers?
I'm sick, Jerry. Jerry, I'm real sick.
Did you even ask for consent, Phil?
It's a donut. It doesn't have to give consent.
Oh my God, we got to get HR here. Right.
I'm sick.
Absolutely. The worst service I've ever gotten anywhere. After waiting in line for 45 minutes today, they told me they were out of St. Patrick's Day donuts. Then I bought a half dozen regular since I've been here for almost an hour. She told me $10.40. When I asked why so much, she said, "You want them?" I swear, this country is going to hell. What the fuck? Let's unpack that for a second.
You know what? This donut place is indicative of where this country is going.
Wow. Let's unpack that for a second, shall we? So this was 5 months ago. This is March of 2022, right? Literally, this is St. Patrick's Day mentioned. Worst service. They waited in line. So for those who don't know how this location is done, it's a very short drive-through. And once you turn in, it's like a very small line. Then it curves to the menu that faces Pleasantburg. And then it curves like a U. And then it's like maybe 4 car lengths to the window. So I would say maybe about 10 cars kind of fit in the line. So once you're in there, otherwise you're stuck on the street. That's
45 minutes is a while to wait, right? Even in your car?
Yeah. And I don't know. Part of me wants to say you got to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, because if you're in your car, I would hope you would have the logic and look at the clock on your car and you can make that distinction, not just be like, Like my kids, like they exaggerate the shit out of everything. They're like, we've
Sure.
been here for 3 hours. Like, no, we've literally just got here.
In 5 minutes, calm down.
Yeah, literally stuff like that. So I would assume an adult would have the capability to look at a clock and be like, okay, we've been 40 minutes, this is ridiculous. And then the irritability by the time you get to the window or the drive-through speaker and they say they're out of something.
Yeah, that's annoying.
I would say this is why and people can damn them for all they want. People can say whatever they want. I will say Chick-fil-A drive-through service is like untouched.
The pinnacle. It's the pinnacle.
I don't know what it is. There's like no other drive-through places that do the same.
And it's partly like COVID really like was a test for them, and they just haven't gone back to getting rid of that. They're like, we clearly are popular enough to keep this going. We're just going to keep doing this.
Well, even before COVID, they were doing the whole like someone in the outside with the iPads, 2-line lanes, and then you kind of merge and they tell you what order to go in. And then with COVID, they started doing like the curbside stuff, the pickup at the counter thing. You can mobile order, that kind of stuff. Like it really helped them step up their game and like really,
yeah, it did
say, well, good thing we got ahead of the curve. Let's just keep doing it and then do it even harder. And that made it really sexual, thanks to Phil. But anyway, all that being said, the Krispy Kreme drive-thru is not exactly sophisticated. And
no,
I can imagine the training is not nearly as in-depth with Chick-fil-A as it is with Krispy Kreme. And by the time you get there, I mean, this poor worker, all they know is this person been waiting. Okay, sorry about that. And it's like a fair question to be like, 1040, you want them or not?
It's good.
I gotta put this shit back.
It's like, you got 10 more cars behind you, lady. Let's go.
Exactly. It's like they've already had a long line. Like, you know, you can cuss them out all you want, but they're just trying to do the job.
You were the 200th person to cuss them out today. Speaking of
what's
which,
one more?
Here's another one. This little girl thought she was going to give me donuts she took from another box when the hot light was on. No, sweetie, I need those. That's moving from the belts. No transferring it from another box. I don't know where that came from or how long it's been seating. She wanted to get me an attitude. Very nasty. We'll be going to the Woodruff Road store from now on.
Damn. There is some kind of history in this location on North Pleasantburg. This one, very similar kind of thread. This Krispy Kreme is never open. This is 5 months ago, by the way. Same time on the St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning is when most people would like donuts. There's a handmade sign on all the windows saying only opening at 7:30 a.m. A handmade sign. Makes you wonder if the owner knows that they are not opening until 7:30. Today's experience, for the owner to know that there were 5 cars in line to get donuts. That had to drive off because there's no service. As I drove off, there were 2 more coming in behind me. My guess is that at the beginning of this year, I believe a lot of places, service industry, restaurants, places like this, we're still struggling on hiring people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my guess. Like I'll give you an example, like the recently closed Bacon Brothers in Greenville. Maybe before COVID, you can make the argument that Bacon Brothers on Pelham Road was probably one of the best Greenville only restaurants in town. Wasn't a chain, locally owned.
It's been a little while, but yeah, when it first opened, it was breaking ground.
Oh yeah, probably the best charcuterie board, easily, hands down. Some of the best meats you can get in a restaurant.
It did go downhill, unfortunately, the past couple of years. But.
And the big thing that they cited for their closing was due to lack of service and staffing because of COVID. Same thing with Gringo's downtown. They closed and they cited that their fault was staffing.
Gringo's also had the issue of their permitting. They basically had to close at a certain time at night.
Oh wait, sorry, not Gringo's. The place next to Gringo, Poor.
Oh, Poor
close due to staffing and servicing issues,
which is crazy to me because Poor really only requires like 2 people.
So, that's the thing. You can blame COVID, but really the reality is, and again, I'm no expert. I am no business owner, but my thought is that it's poor management, right? Like COVID's been around for 2.5 years. You had at least that amount of time before that, and to consult with other businesses and owners in service industry places to like figure it out.
Well, I don't know, Andrew. There's definitely been some issue with like unemployment is actually pretty low right now. I think what's happened is a lot of people got fed up in the service industry and probably went to other places where there were better pay and greener pastures.
Sure.
So it's
I admit that. I also say that there's got to be ways. There has been ways that I know people who are in the service industry or own restaurants or bars that had to figure out creative ways to hire people and outreach in different creative ways or network with other places as well. That's my point is like, yes, these things happen. And yes, absolutely. Service industry people come and go really fast because a lot of times they're going to be your college workers. They're going to be the people in between jobs. They're going to be people who just do it for like a second day job, right? So there's not like a lot of primary source income. Like this is my only thing right now because like honestly, like a waitress, waiter, host, whatever skill, bartender is pretty transferable if they, you know, allow themselves to. I had a friend who was in the Larkins restaurant industry for a couple of years, and then he went into hospitality with another place. And then, you know, essentially, you know, we had a great conversation one day and he told me like, it's just so hard to be in that field, to be a male, especially, and really to like move up. And he didn't want to continue being in that field. So I said one day to him, I said, look, you're a really personable guy. You're good at talking to people. Have you ever thought of just doing IT sales? And so I connected him with someone who's hiring IT salespeople. I was like, as long as you can figure out the lingo and, you know how to go show up for appointments and how to build a pipeline and network, you should be okay. I think it's a great job. You know, 6 months later, he's still there. He's enjoying it. It's a great career shift for him. And he's out of hospitality because hospitality is like a horrible, ungrateful job for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I can imagine if you are working like $10 an hour at Krispy Kreme and you have very little support staff, if you were like a manager, you're probably making like, maybe $20 an hour. And then you got no one coming through the door to hire. I mean, it's a bitch, I am sure, to be like, fuck this. I am not going into a store by myself at 5 a.m. to make literally the donuts all by myself. And then run all this shit.
All why people yell at me while I do it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And have no sympathy for like, oh, I'm like, so that's the thing. I've been to places with my kids where like, we went to Outback last year for Landon's, I think, like 11th birthday. And Outback like only had half the tables being seated. We waited for like an hour and a half. And the kids were like, what's going on? I was like, well, they're short staff and we just got to be patient.
Yeah.
And all that kind of shit. You know, we got to make sure we take care of them because they're the ones who showed up, you know, and I get it. I worked service industry for like 15 years, man. It sucks.
Yeah, it can be hard too. And it's like you're kind of trying to teach your kids too, like, yeah, just be patient about it. But at the same time, you're kind of like, why is this taking so long?
But in the meantime, let's get back to
the meantime. Hey, here's one for you. That's actually
for a Wednesday deal. OMG. How can you ruin donuts? No glaze, very small size, lacking any taste whatsoever. Yuck.
That's a fucking lie.
Hey, Phil, are you... Look, I know we've been through it with the lemon donuts. I know we've been through this with the Boston cream fingering incident. Are you licking the glaze?
I don't want to say anything because I currently have glaze in my mouth.
You have it on you too, Phil. Just
Jerry, I'm sick.
Phil, we're gonna have to ask you to. We're gonna have to ask you to come in at 7:30 in the morning.
No, anything with that, Jerry.
Here's a 1-star. I traveled many a weary mile with my heart set on another butter donut. Just as I worked up a hefty salivation thinking about my tasty treat awaiting me, I realized that they were out of every kind of donut. Angry words! To top it off, it took like forever to get my one measly chocolate milk and plain donut. Poor service, poor variety, poor whatever else that I can't think of at the moment. 1 star.
Oh man, there's really a ton of good ones here. This one's from a year ago. The ad clearly states that you get 75% off of a chocolate glazed donut on August 27th, 2021. But that was not the case on the Pleasantburg Krispy Kreme shop. My friend and I went to take advantage of this offer, and we were told we would need to buy 2 dozen donuts before we could purchase the chocolate glazed donuts. We were disappointed. This is not the ad that says false advertising on the Pleasantburg KK. Shame on them.
That's not only getting mad at a product, that's getting mad at a coupon promising the product at a cheaper rate. That's hilarious.
Yeah. And, it's, I'm trying to read over this, and unfortunately, you can't see if there's any fine print at the bottom, but the ad does say 75% off chocolate glazed donut when you buy any dozen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, did they try to buy a dozen first?
So my friend and I wanted to take advantage of the offer, but we had to buy. So the ad says basically you buy a dozen and you get 75% off a chocolate glazed dozen. And the review says that they were told you had to buy 2 dozen.
Well, I mean, in theory, Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's a little.
So basically 3 dozen altogether.
Whoops.
So buy full price 2 dozen and then get the third one for 75% off.
I wonder if there was a typo in the coupon or something.
Yeah, that's just one of those. We found someone that you know.
Oh, who, me?
Yep.
Do we?
Drive-through is not open at 11:30 p.m. on Tuesday. This page says it's open 24 hours. And that was about a month ago.
I do see it. I'm going to have to give him crap about it.
I'm going to say his name because I like him. Paul Hoke. He's a great...
We've name dropped him here. He runs Upstate Swing. That's
absolutely.
That's so
Paul Hoke, I've only met him a couple of times, but I know a lot of people who love Paul Hoke. I agree. The times I've seen Paul Hoke either DJ or do dance lessons, he is a phenomenal person to be around. So shout out Paul Hoke.
I wonder if so it does say 24 hours on the sign, and I have noticed in the past several years it hasn't been. Is that a COVID change? Or is that a staffing change?
I think it's both. I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think it started as like a COVID thing, so you can shut down and clean. But then I think after a time, it's kind of like Walmart. Walmart's never really gone back to being full 24 hours. So you just kind of weigh out the good and the bad. It's like you could be 24 hours like the good old days, but really in the end, like it's really worth it, In
the end, what do you get in a Walmart at 3 a.m?
I mean, when I was younger in my 20s, I had to get mayonnaise for a party because I was drunk as shit.
Anyway, you get mayonnaise when you're drunk as shit. Well,
here's another one.
Did you have eggs? And did you have eggs? Did you have oil? You could have made mayonnaise.
What am I from Sumter? Here's another one for Phil. Absolutely no filling in their quote filled Boston cream. This was from a second recent chance visit, and supposedly they will be raising prices in September. I'm done. And the guy
section.
Yeah, and the guy cut the donut in half just to prove a point.
It is suspiciously low in the amount of cream you would expect.
Man, I just saw that one where you read I traveled afar, and I did not realize the photo was so like empty.
Yeah, there's not a lot of donuts left. Yeah, it's pretty dismal. He didn't say what time he showed up though. If he showed up at like 11 o'clock, that place is going to be picked over. Hey, speaking of that coupon, I got another 1-star for you that's kind of similar.
Go.
They were rude. They absolutely refused to scan the barcode and honor the promotional deal and tried to charge almost double for 1 dozen and full price for another. The manager wasn't wearing any hairnet gloves, wearing very dirty clothes like he had been doing mechanics on a car or truck shirt, also untucked, all while standing over the line with donuts coming out. He told us it was an IT issue. The deal was any dozen for $7.99, up to 4 dozens. They also had the doors locked and were causing traffic issues. 1 star.
I have a question as we close out this episode because we have a lot of 1-stars here.
There's so many
lot.
more.
We could
There's
do
so
we
many
could do
more.
other parts to this episode and more down the road.
We don't have to.
I do.
I think we got it, honestly, right? But
I think there's definitely been some good days and bad days at this Krispy Kreme. And for many reasons we've already said between COVID staffing and so on, deservedly so. But I will say that my thought is because there's so many 1-star reviews that we haven't even touched, and there's over 2,000 reviews, almost 2,100, and it's an average of 4.3. Would you say, because of the power, name, and recognition, would you consider Krispy Kreme uncancelable? And in today's world of cancel culture, where people are like, I want to boycott this place, or I want to boycott this person, bury them in hell. They don't deserve to be a thing. I feel Krispy Kreme is pretty powerful.
You mentioned Chick-fil-A earlier.
Yes.
Chick-fil-A at one point was their corporate was providing donations to I can't remember which one it was. It was like Forward with Family or something. It was basically one of the more right-leaning groups that was anti-gay marriage, and they actually have, by the way, stopped that since that was an issue. But people were talking about canceling Chick-fil-A for years after that, and it hasn't happened. If anything, more people go to Chick-fil-A now than ever before. Something tells me Krispy Kreme is probably at a similar boat right now. But honestly, their biggest issue, it sounds like, is just staffing. It's just staffing and getting the donuts out.
I would put past episode, I think you were with me doing this Cracker Barrel in that realm too, of like not the best morals. I mean, to each their own, right? And if whatever you believe in, you want to support. Hey, that's all you. That's why this is America. That's why it's a great country.
Sure.
But all that being said, I remember I had a high school friend, one of my best friends growing up. Her dad was a civil rights attorney, and absolutely that family like despised Cracker Barrel because of their stance, and like they would not. I think there was a time in the 90s they just refused to hire gay people.
Yeah.
And in fact, we have a mutual friend, shout out Walter Azell of Alchemy Comedy. He met his recently deceased husband partner Jim at a protest.
I think you told that story
against Cracker Barrel. They met at his house that Jim owned / that Walter is selling, because it was like an organization function for that like protest. And he was like, "Oh, like this guy is cool. Like I want to hang out with him," and all kinds of. There's more to. I'm sure Walter could himself tell an hour-long story, and it's beautiful and it's magical. Because I'm going to butcher it to hell if I tell it.
You've told it before, actually.
But what I'm saying is like, there's a lot of good things that can happen in bad places and bad times. That'd be one of them. But Cracker Barrel is still kicking. Krispy Kreme will still be kicking. Chick-fil-A will still be Christing and kicking. And there's places that just are untouchable. Krispy Kreme is one of them. I absolutely, despite, I don't care how shitty service I give Krispy Kreme. It's magical in my body. I'm sorry. And those cheat days and those days, like I've lost like over 30 pounds since last year. I would eat salads for 2 weeks straight, every meal. So then I can have one good cheat meal a day. And I would crush a dozen easily. I could do it.
Oh yeah, no, I could definitely eat a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts because they're so puffy. Like there's a lot of sugar and there's a lot to them in terms of like calories, but they're pretty light. You could eat a dozen.
So fucking good.
So good. You know what my favorite type of Krispy Kreme is? The box that just shows up at your office because somebody else brought the box, and you're like,
or it's like
sweet.
A school fundraiser. He's like, oh, I did something good,
and you're like, oh yes, I didn't have to wait in line for them. They're just here. Oh,
and even if they're like 2 days old, you can still pop it in the microwave for like maybe 8 seconds.
Cup comes back like it's fresh again.
Mm-hmm. And you were just asking if I've ever done a donut burger.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. There's a place. I cannot remember. There's a place in Atlanta that does it. I went to like the Chris Rock stand-up show at the Fox Theater years ago with mutual friends, and they had one of those on the menu. I thought there was a place in Greenville that did that as well. I could be wrong.
There was at one point. I'm blanking on where.
Was GB&D one day? Like, did they one time do something like that?
Maybe GBD actually used to make their own, like the guys who own the guy who owns it had a pop-up for a while that I think they did donuts for a bit. And they may
Maybe the
have
place
just,
I'm thinking of doesn't exist anymore because a lot of places did kind of shift around during COVID times. But
hold
yeah,
on.
there have been places that have done donor burgers.
We're sitting right here. Greenville SC donut burger.
You're gonna look it up.
Let me
Now
look it up
donut
and see
burgers
if
are going to be in your cookies and your search filters now.
Red
Gonna-
Robin. Universal. Did Universal Joint ever do a donut burger?
I can't remember, but would it surprise me? No.
No, it would not surprise me. KO Burgers and Fries. I don't know what that is.
That is in Gather Greenville. That is part of what is Hindo Burger,
Oh,
and they
yeah,
make their
yeah,
own
yeah.
donuts. So, yeah,
I think they do a donut burger.
I think they do. I think
Maybe I
because they make
look
their
at menu.
donuts in house, and it's really fucking good.
No, well, unless they do a special, it just says classic cheeseburger and Carolina burger.
There also used to be a place that would do like Krispy Kreme. What do you call it? Bread pudding. And
Yeah.
I wish I could remember that place off the top of my head.
Hey, before I forget, make sure whatever music you close out this episode with, it should be The Baddest by Krispy Kreme.
You know how bad I do editing. So
yeah.
my editing
Just,
consists of me remembering the day before that I need to put out an episode. I like compress the file, then I add the intro, then I add the outro. I hit the levels. I make sure that's not too high or low. And that takes me an all about 10-minute process because I don't have the time in the world like an audio engineer that I don't have time to hire or have the money for right now.
If it helps you at all, I'm pretty sure it's not a copywritten song.
I still have to put the effort into like going into YouTube, ripping it, and then that's going to be my fucking cookies in my search engine of like, hey, you want to listen to more shit like this? Like, no, I don't.
Listeners,
really
besides checking out what you see, listeners, go to Krispy Kreme on Wade Hampton, go into the drive-through, wait for 45 minutes, and listen to nothing but The Baddest by Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, I'm not clicking on
minutes.
that YouTube link. So it just basically keeps showing me, well, you watch this, we're gonna show you other things similar to that, and then ruin my YouTube experience.
There it is.
I already have a 12-year-old that ruins my YouTube experience. I don't need you to ruin my YouTube experience. But let us not ruin it as well. As you continue to listen to our podcast, once there are views, give us a like, subscribe, whatever, listen to our voices on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Play, all the stuff there, even Amazon Echo. You can even ask your Echo device to play this, and it will for you. It's magical what technology does nowadays. And again, give us 5-star reviews like our friend Ivan, shout out. Unlike scumbag Larry, who doesn't get his friends other than Ivan to give us 5-star reviews.
Is this going to be a thing? You're going to shout out Ivan every single episode now?
Ivan has contributed more to this podcast than you have.
Wow. I'm sick, Jerry. I'm sick.
Exactly. But on that note, we'll leave you on a sick note and let people think your improv character died from fucking all those donuts. Oh, I thought you had a bit. No, you don't have a bit? All right.
I'm so empty now, Jerry.
It's chlamydia donut there.